That's right, I'm back. From being on the highways and byways of America, I come to you, YouTube, to review Impact Rebellion. A night and a pay-per-view so important that not only did you need 2 referees in your main event, you needed to bring in tomorrow. But no, now that is important. That is major. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Also, it appeared that I got the accent back, so I guess we'll go from there. Anyway, it's time to start the review. Now play my music. Now, in my opinion, if you're going to start off a night with hype feelings, you got to start it with a very exciting opener. And this opener was by far the most exciting opener I think I've gotten in an Impact pay-per-view in some time, which is good. It's very good. As we had the X Division title on the line, we had your champion, Ace Austin, going up against former champion TJP and new up-and-comer in the division, the living weapon, Josh Alexander. All of these men did a damn good job, but I will say, I don't know if it's because of the quality drop, because of the fact that we are without a crowd. And while Impact does a good job making up for it by phoning in the sound effects, I don't feel like their hearts were in it as much as it would have been if they had that crowd, that same energy behind them. But they still put on a good match. With very few things that actually took me out of it. Mostly the spot setups that kind of got it. Now, I'm a fan of spot monkeys. A good spot will get me going, but you gotta be fast and smooth with it. And sometimes the stall-ins, the hold off and setting up and get me going into the final stretch of this thing, where it could have been any person match. My money was on one person and one person wanted to come out. Because only one person could actually gain from the growth of the win the champion, and that was Josh Alexander. Go ahead, getting in the divine intervention, that beautiful sit-down power driver. On to the champion Ace for the definitive 1, 2, 3. I like it. And I'm actually excited to see what could happen with Josh. And literally, depending on how the show went, it makes me feel like there could be some more in a way. Damn, I love this wrestler. If only for the fact that I wasn't on a sabbatical from drinking, I would enjoy me a good ass beer. But with that being said, this one, it's 3.5 beers out of 5 from me, because it was that good. There was a nice opening. I've seen better openings. I've seen smoother, more high octane openings, but it was still a good match to get the night going. And this night, I was not disappointed. Most part ways. God damn it. Now, following that action up, we got Impact Zone, Willie Mack, Eddie Edwards, Chris Sabin, and the good old beer drinking, my boy James Storm, with a ceremonial beer in his hand. God damn it, I love that man. Goes for everything it stands for. Wrestling, beer, a southern way of life. Oh yeah, that man is good. That man is in good company, in my opinion. Now that we got all of that goodness. Going up against the dastardly team of VDB, Violent by Design, headed by the world-class psychopath, Eric Young. But unfortunately, in his last outing against Eddie Edwards, a terrible decision, Eric Young hurt himself. So he had to find a replacement. And then it was a question of who would replace Eric Young in this match. Well, as an old friend of mine once like to speak about, the person that replaced Eric Young is 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that. One, W. Morrissey comes in, joined by side, a huge pickup in his Impact debut. Also looking obviously in the best shape of his career, I would say. If you don't know, W. Morrissey is the former Big Cass, also known as Cass XL, on the image. Now that I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this match was probably on the lower tier tonight for me. Why? Because this match had a lot of bodies. It was a lot of clunky. Now there was some decent beatings, but it was too much. Now there are times where I like to be a fat bitch and I need me a little too much. I got this little girl right now, right? Sometimes you need it, and right now this was a bit too much for me. Just a bit too much, but it was still enough for me to enjoy. Morrissey had an okay debut, but I think it would have been better if we could have maybe cut two of the guys off, because it was a four-man 11. It was a four-way, but VDB got the win. The job was done. There was nothing to really complain about, and the debut was exciting, even though they did let word about it get out a little too soon. They should not have done that. So for me, I'm gonna go ahead and crack this thing open with 3 beers for a decent enough job. Just nothing to complain about. It's just too much. But Impact did a damn good job picking it up, because they gave me a good ass match. I'm talking about one of the best book matches in this entire thing. Long-term booking, slow burn build. And that's just building to the feud between 2 former friends in Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. Now then, from there, we get some of the best wrestling of the night. And I'm talking about, if you like logical, slow wrestling that builds to a nice crescendo with an ending that leaves room for more and you wanting more, this match was that match. Matt Cardona and Brian Myers showed why they are veterans, they are veterans of the game. They ain't young boys no more, they ain't just so many talents. They are solid talent that was wasted and squandered, because in my opinion, there's nothing better than when you can pull off having a good, slower, old school match, and you could just, it was good. So good to me that I think, for myself, having done a review, I'm gonna give it 5 beers before I even get to finish it, because honestly, here's the way the finish went down. As these 2 gladiators were going back and forth in the ring, unfortunately, at one such moment, Matt Cardona go ahead for the over the top, just got tossed, just went over the shoulders of Brian Myers and landed ugly. Hurt the knee, injured knee, history. Nice bringing that in. That's exactly what you want to do for the way they did it. So they ended it to where it looked like they were going to have to call it off. And Brian Myers seemed to be remorseful, just be like, damn, this ain't how I want to do it. I'm professional, damn it. So he goes in, grabs the hand, but do you think he did it? No, the fuck he did not. He went ahead, knocked the hurt man down, did it again, and got the 1, 2, 3. You dastard son of a bitch. But I damn sure want them to run it back at some point in the future when Cardona is better, because this appears to be a kayfabe injury, which is good. I don't like having fellow wrestlers being hurt, but we won't know until the news really drops about it. But that was an amazing match. If I had to pick out a few matches that I had to watch outside of the main event itself, that was the match I would suggest watching. Now, going in between these matches, we have Tony Khan coming in with his ref, Aubrey Edwards, aka Girl Hebner, for the purpose of, it's Girl Hebner before she was Aubrey Edwards. Gotta put it out there. Coming to say that he wants to bring her in to ref the match. She's good. And whenever when Scott D'Amore came in to speak his piece against while having his own Impact official in position, Tony Khan made a nice job asking, "Hey, what's your ref's name?" Because this is Brian Hebner, who's the father of Earl Hebner, who, let us not forget, Montreal Screwjob. We will never forget. That was a nice little fun. I got a nice little chuckle about that, which also is what led to us it being announced we're gonna have 2 referees on this match, which should lessen the sense of shenanigans. But the question comes down to, can the AEW crowd be trusted? Now, I'm not one for them big companies like that, those corporate run entities, and I think that's a bad idea. But we'll have to wait. So then we go into Knockouts Tag Team action, as we have your Knockout champion, Fire and Flavor, going up against the newly put together team of Jordan Grace, Big Mama Pump, if you will. And I'm going to call her Precious. Precious Rachel Ellering, the daughter of Precious Paul Ellering. A former manager to one of the greatest tag teams on God's green earth and in history. All space and time. Road Warriors. And all the pain whenever they were in NXT. Whenever good. And this did not point on so many factors. Now, Fire Flavor has a tag team. They are set in their ways. Heel tag team. Full of themselves, cocky, full of that energy. And that's why I can tell you that I like seeing my girls over here just boasting, being the hot shit, because they is the hot shit. And Jordynne Grace is solid in the ring. That's Dick Mama Pump. But the one that really got me was Rachel Ellering. I love her energy. I love her explosive. She is exciting to watch. And she also does compliment Jordynne. Now Jordynne, she's a bit of a technician, but more of a powerhouse. Wow. Rachel is a bit of a flyer along with her power. And it actually got it to the point where Fire Flavor had to think who was the best one to hold down. They went ahead and decided early on they were going to focus on Jordynne Grace. I don't blame them. I would have done it too, because I would say she's a bigger threat. But that's deceptive. Her being a former knockout champion, because Rachel Ellering, again, is a powerhouse and explosive as hell. But this was a really good match. The women did a damn good job. And all I can say is they made the right decision. Fire Flavor had the knockouts belts for a while, and they did. They had some decent reigns. They went up against that got some good numbers under the belts, but I feel until we get a decision on possibly talent sharing with AEW's talent, which should happen, it's time to get the belts off Fire Flavor and dropping it to Jordynne. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit off. My twang is getting to me. And dropping the belts to Jordynne and Rachel was the best. With Rachel pulling out the win when it seemed like the separation of Jordynne and Rachel would have led to Fire and Flavor just coming around to get it, but not enough, because Rachel, like I said, Rachel is the impressor, and Rachel's the one that helped brought the belt. Also, I forgot to mention Jazz is officially their manager. I don't know if it's a one-night thing or if it's going to be permanent, but if it is, I think that will be pretty neat. Pretty neat. Girls got four beers. Y'all enjoyed it. Y'all earned it. No, I'm lying. Not 4 beers. These women got 4.5 beers. Because it was good. These girls, I give them 4 beers. Nice, cold, cracked, fresh on ice. And if you need, we can give you a little bit of salt for the flavor. They did a damn good job. There's no complaints about that. I think one thing that did get me was, the one thing that hurt me a bit was the one spot where Jordynne and Rachel were waiting on Kiera Hogan to get in position, which it took a lot of time. It was only those two holding each other. It wasn't like they were all fighting and then she kind of crept on, which I think is the way they should do it. They shouldn't have everybody basically looking in the same direction, just holding each other down. That takes me out of it. But other than that, damn good match. Now, following that nice little bit of tag action, we have Trey Miguel going up against Sami Callihan, with Sami Callihan tormenting Trey. Once trying to help Trey get to the higher level, but now trying to say that he ain't got the passion for this game, that he ain't really got it in him. And Trey Miguel, if anything, is one of the most passionate and explosive and energetic individuals I've seen as a wrestler. I love Trey Miguel. Like, when he screams, you really feel the intensity of him getting into the moment. So, of course, I'm not a fan of how it played out, because Trey Miguel is too good to have to be on the lower end of Sami Callihan for the bulk of a match. But, it was alright. It wasn't Sami's most brutal match. It wasn't. It is the last man standing. So, again, I feel the same thing where this match is more of a hindrance because of the lack of a crowd, and it's not really having the same energy. And even the finish was a bit wonky, but they ended it properly. But I will say, as far as showing Sam to be a brutal monster when he's in the playground, it did a decent enough job. This one, I'm gonna give it 3.5. I'll give it 3.5 beers, because if only for the fact that, again, we got to see some pretty hard-hitting things. There was one particular moment where Trey Miguel got slammed onto a upside-down table with the legs sticking out, and it looked pretty. It looked disgusting at a point. And again, the finish is proper with Trey getting out of Sami's attempted forcible press down using steel chairs into a cutter onto a table, and Sami being unable to get back up from that. I can accept that it's fine. We're gonna move on. Up next, we have Impact World Tag Team titles on the line, as FinJuice defend their belts against the Good Brothers, the former Young Boys, going up against the Good Brothers who are awakened now. Now then, FinJuice coming back from tour in Japan, took the Impact belts, gone for about a month, and they did good, look good, come back looking amazing. As we have the Good Brothers, you know, trying to come in. Doc Gallows is coming in wearing a goddamn fedora and some weird ass earring. I don't know how I feel about it right now. I don't think it needs to be. But did they come with this type of energy that they said they had awakened in? If they had, I could not see it because the champs look dominant in this album. Now the Good Brothers are an okay team. They can't. I don't know if they've had the means by which to be great, and even saying that they're great is a bit shaky depending on scenarios. Now then, FinJuice looked phenomenal. They were on the money. They dominated the bulk of this match, mostly because of solid teamwork. And now when the Good Brothers started making the comeback, I was like, okay, I guess we're about to really get things going. But no, FinJuice decided they're going to shut that shit down. They did not allow that magic killer to happen and pulled a win out the half. With a surprise roll up, but I'm gonna let it slide this time because honestly, I enjoyed this match. I like seeing that FinJuice are gonna be dominant champions that actually are putting in the work and looking damn good. And if they can get other Impact teams or more teams to come in at that same level, that division is gonna be set. For me, y'all boys got 4.5 beers. Now, up next in the semifinal match of the night, we have Tenille Dashwood alongside Caleb with a K going up against the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, the female technical wizard, along with her girl Susan, aka Susie, aka Sue Young, and Kimberly, in what was a stellar match. Great women's technical wrestling going in, and I'm gonna say it, this was the one that hurt my heart a bit because with the way it was booked, you would be assuming you would be right to assume that this was gonna be Tenille's night because Tenille had Deonna's number, in my opinion, if not for interference, saving her, and also not having been disqualified. Now that's being used at the ref's discretion, which. As for a championship match, I'm perfectly fine with it because there's no fucking way he didn't see Kimberly pull out Tenille. There's no way he didn't see it. Yeah, no, that match, in my opinion, is getting 4 cans. It's getting 4 cans. But unfortunately, that same interference costed Tiana her win, and you know it's a hard sell, but she could definitely fight back from it. I'm curious to see what's going to happen if they're going to carry this into the next pay-per-view. But after post-match beatdown, we got the return of Taylor Wilde, a Impact Knockouts veteran, legend, former champion, and inaugural Knockouts Tag Team champion. Coming in looking pretty good and interesting. I've said this before. As far as talent goes, as in the actual possession of talent, WWE has the best. But do not get it twisted. Impact has the second best women's division, second best women's roster in the world, in my opinion. And I'll stick by them guns, especially if they have their veterans that are still able to go at a level and be as excited as what I saw with Taylor Wilde making her re-debut. Then I'm definitely down for it. You combine AEW's women's division along with Impact's Knockouts division, and we got something special there. Now, in the moment you have all been waiting on. A match so important that you have 2 champions from 2 completely different promotions, world champions at that, colliding, title versus title, both on the line. 2 referees, and 1 Wild Mauro Ranallo, formerly of NXT fame, but before that, Combat Sports announcement fame because his commentary is amazing. Calling this historical match. And now, if you're about to tell me that Mauro Ranallo is going to be part of Impact in their announcement team, that's their 3-man, oh yes, I'm down for that. Because I already said it, once Matt Striker and D'Lo Brown became the announcement team, it got so much better on the announcement, in my opinion. The Impact fans definitely appreciate it as well. And you got Ranallo on that, and that is a top-notch commentary team. put it there. But this match, we saw the best of what both men have on. Kenny Omega as the cleaner, properly the cleaner now, is everything that you want. He's chicken shit. He's condescending. Getting into minds by doing simple things. Rich Swann fighting back, underdog, high energy, exciting to watch. It came in and then came down to this. Then we were getting highs and lows, fast and slows. I'm talking about high octane, slowed it down. We're gonna be a little bit methodical. We're gonna break it down piece by piece, and got a match that, while not Kenny's best, I will definitely say is one of Swann's best, with stakes so high that I had to be all encompassed in this match. And there were some times where I thought, could they really do it? Could they really put it on Swann? Now, it didn't happen. That was a little bit towards the end, and a good couple times. But for the most part, it didn't look as though Kenny just had this thing in the bag. And if not for certain circumstances, specifically whenever Swann hurt himself on what would have been a outside springboard cutter, I'm sorry, handstand cutter, which it led to hurting the neck and back, which has given Swann problems, leading to Kenny slowly dissecting him again piece by piece, and then him brutalizing with repeated knees and everything, and Swann firing back. Well, I think 2 good comebacks, but only to be shut down with that knee. You saw how important this was to Impact, and you saw how it went down whenever Kenny hit the combination that leads to doom. He hit the V-trigger, set him up in the electric chair. You whip that leg, you bring him down for the one wicked angel. 1, 2, 3. We now have a new beast at the top of the wrestling world. Kenny Omega, the Impact Unified World Champion. Kenny Omega, the AAA Mega Campeon. Kenny Omega, the AEW World Champion. 3 world championships in one man, 3 companies. And I'm pretty sure he's not done with this collection yet. Where does this go for this story? How does this affect Impact? Does that mean that Kenny does double duty and then going to be on AEW and Impact? I don't know. But with the way it all came together and the way this match felt, even though I'm highly disappointed by how little AEW themselves did promote this match, which they should have done, it was still a stellar match. I don't think it went just the proper amount of time. It felt longer than it actually was, and that's good in my opinion. This match is 5 beers for me. Lord knows if I could, I'd give them all tall boys. But we're working on budgets here. And with that being said, the bulk of the show I enjoyed immensely. The biggest downer for me would be the second match. That multi-man was way too jam-packed in my opinion. But everything else was good. It was enjoyable. I can't have it. This night, this show, it gets 4 cans from me. They did a damn good show. That being said, it's your boy. It's been daddy stuff. I'm not gonna say that because I'm kind of tired, but thank y'all for watching. I appreciate you so kindly. Y'all have a good night. We out to stay. Peace.